person she has ever met. Thank you for shaping her into the player and person she is today. Your second senior is goalie Amanda. Amanda is escorted by her parents on meeting Amanda. She is a goalie and has been playing back since the fourth grade. Amanda will graduate with a chemistry degree. After graduation, she plans to attend veterinary school at St. George University. Amanda's favorite last memories are always having a second family, 3 state championships, and so many more. Her favorite BW memories are beating Maddie Wilson, Easter egg hunting, our spring break trips, and our road to the rink. She would like to thank her parents and the family for all they have done, Clayton for supporting her dreams, our entire coaching staff for dealing with me, and above all, my teammates for believing in me, in her, and enjoying the journey with her. Next is senior midfielder Katie Coker. Katie is escorted by her mom, Tammy Coker. Katie is a midfielder who has been playing lacrosse since her junior year at Rocky River High School. She will graduate with a degree in exercise science with a minor in psychology and athletic coaching. After graduation, she plans to continue her coaching career or really go fish. Katie loved everything from the North Carolina Waffle House to Fiji pool days in Minnesota heat. Her favorite BW memory is taking long romantic walks along the Crow Lake Pass waiting for Mr. Right. She would like to thank her mom, Tammy, as she has been her rock since day one. Katie would not be here if it wasn't for her mother. Thank you for everything. And finally, the tag senior Jenna Turner. Jenna is escorted by Nancy and Rocky Turner. Jenna is a tagger who has been playing lacrosse since 2006. She will graduate with a pre-PT degree and a minor in bio and psych. After graduation, she plans to take a gap year to coach lacrosse in Indiana and work. Her favorite last memory is playing with my best friends in Vail. Thank you to our seniors. Baldwin Wallace University, the Ohio Athletic Conference, and the National Collegiate Athletics Association prohibit the sale and/or consumption of any alcoholic beverage and/or within the confines of the George Finnie Stadium. Finnie Stadium and the entire BW campus are designated as tobacco and smoke-free. We ask that you please refrain from smoking or using any tobacco products while in the stadium or on campus. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Next, come away the Ohio Athletic Conference promote good sportsmanship by demonstrating respect for all student athletes, coaches, officials, and fans. Disparaging remarks will not be tolerated. Be proud, be loud, be positive, and go Jackets. Attention fans, copies of today's game program can be found in the mailbox located on the south side of the press box. Today's game is an OSU matchup between Leary Yellow Jackets and City of Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Now for the starting lineups. Starting for the Polar Bears, number 2 midfielder Jackie Logan. Number 3 defender Chelsea Cousins. Number 6 defender Angela Cromwell. Number 8 attack Katie McCord. Number 10 attack Betsy Mabel. Defender number 14 Rachel Shipman. Number 18 attack Kayla Royce. Defender number 19 Haley Green. Defender number 22 Emily Richburger. Goalie number 27 Shannon Larson Van Alstein. Defender number 28 Krista Source. And attack number 30 Alexis Cowley. Now starting for your Yellow Jackets. Senior attack number 2 Jeff Turner. Freshman defender number 5, Hannah Stein. Sophomore midfielder number 10, Megan Patrick. Senior midfielder number 11, Mandy Russell. Sophomore midfielder number 13, Hannah Frederickson. Junior defender number 15, Erica Ironman. Junior defender number 16, Taylor Giorgio. Senior midfielder number 20, Katie Coker. Sophomore midfielder number 23, Mackenzie Moran. Junior midfielder number 24, Kayla Miller. Sophomore attack number 33, Hannah Albrechta. And starting at goal for your young Jack, senior goalkeeper number 31, Amanda Gata. At this time, we ask that all fans please rise and gently kindly remove your caps as we honor America and those who protect our freedom and honor from all with the playing of our national anthem.
Coming to you live from George Finnie Stadium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome inside our coverage of Yellow Jackets lacrosse this afternoon on an absolutely beautiful day in Northeast Ohio. Brendan Gulick with you. This is a game between a Baldwin Wallace team who is certainly clicking on all cylinders and an Ohio Northern Polar Bears group that has had a little bit of momentum at times this year, but they have struggled overall. 3-9, the Polar Bears record, though they're coming off of one of their better games in recent memory. And because it's such a new program, one of the better games in program history. This is just the second year that Ohio Northern has had women's varsity lacrosse, and their 18-4 win over Heidelberg set a couple of school records individually and as a team. We'll get to those a little bit later on. The Jackets 10-2 overall. They are 5-0 in conference play, unbeaten, and they are in first place with a game-and-a-half lead over the Capital Crusaders and the Mount Union Purple Raiders, who are tied at 3-1 in second place. BW still plays Mount Union. Their only other conference game outside of today and Mount Union is Otterbein, a team who is 3-2 and playing pretty well also. BW will be in the white tops and yellow skirts, and Ohio Northern in the vibrant orange with gray numbers. Might be kind of difficult to see, but we'll give you the best play-by-play that we can. In the meantime, the starting lineups for BW. They will, as usual, send Amanda Ghetto into net. Jenna Turner, Hannah Stein, Megan Patrick, Maddie Russell, Hannah Frederickson, Erica Ironman, Taylor Giordano, Katie Coker, Mackenzie Moran, Kayla Miller, and Hannah Albrechta start for BW. Give you the Ohio Northern starters in just a moment as our opening draw is bobbled. They will do it again. Kel DeBici, our lead official, the head referee. Linda Cochin and Anne-Marie Martin will officiate alongside her. Baldwin Wallace will attack right to left here in the opening quarter, or I should say the opening half. Ball goes straight up in the air. That one controlled on the ground ball, and it will be Ohio Northern to start things on the offensive end. Jackie Lohman, Chelsea Cousins, as the Yellow Jackets take it back. Angelica Crumnow, Katie McCourt, Betsy Noggle, Rachel Shipman, Kayla Roos, Haley Green, Emily Hirschberger, Krysa Sowers, and Alexis Kaler will all play for Ohio Northern, along with their goalkeeper, Shannon Larson Van Alstine. She has seen more time than any of her teammates in net this year, playing all 12 games, but 3 different goaltenders have seen time for the Polar Bears here in 2017. BW on the attack first, and that's certainly a place they like to be. There's a missed shot from just in front of the net. Not a bad try, though, from Hannah Albrechta. Bounced off the side of the post, and it's controlled by Larson Van Alstine. So Ohio Northern trying to clear it away. And the clear attempt is good as they make their way up the field. Right in front of the goal, Amanda Ghetto able to get her stick on it. And here comes Baldwin Wallace. Yellow Jackets offensively at times in conference play have been unstoppable. And they have won 5 in a row as we get a foul and a stoppage of time for just a moment. Kayla Miller will have a free position. The 2 toughest games BW has had in conference play have been their most recent 2. Kayla Miller shoots one and scores on the right side. First, I couldn't tell if she put it in the net or if she put it off to the side, but it apparently snuck inside that right post. Kayla Miller strikes first, and it's her 28th goal of the season. So BW takes a 1-0 lead about a minute and a half into the game. They check her equipment, and everything's all good. BW opened up the OAC schedule this year with Muskingum, Wilmington, and Heidelberg, all here at home. And they won those 3 games by a very large margin. 14-4, 18-0, and 20-1. Those are 3 very new programs in the OAC, and BW played very well. And so they had some momentum coming off a loss to a pretty good Oberlin College team. One of the top teams in the country, in fact, at Oberlin. Capital and John Carroll with road contests hosting BW the last couple of games. Jackets are quickly on the move. All right, Jenna Turner on the near side. Maddie Russell with back-to-back OAC Player of the Week honors. The first as a Defender of the Week last week. She won it for her work on the offensive side. Had a lot to do with her late game-winning goal to beat Capital with less than a minute left in regulation. At the moment, the Jackets are certainly in control of the conference. They do control their own destiny in terms of winning the regular season and hoping to host the OAC tournament, which would come your way May 3rd and May 6th, just a little less than a month away. A couple changes of possession. It's Maddie Russell with it, just off to the left. Katie Coker, one of the Jackets playing here on Senior Day. Though it's not their final home game, BW has chosen to honor their seniors today, and Kayla Miller, who is not a senior, scores for the second time. So the Jackets have a 2-0 lead, almost 3 minutes in. Kayla Miller's gotten off to a nice start. She's up to 40 points now on the season with 29 goals and 11 assists. And her 40 points ties Maddie Russell for the team lead. I think you could certainly make the argument that Maddie Russell and Kayla Miller would be first-team all-conference performers when they announced that at the end of the season. So a nice start for BW. Ohio Northern have had one opportunity on the offensive end, but didn't get a shot off. Just sort of bobbled the ball in front of the BW cage. Ball gets thrown straight up into the air, and it's controlled by Hannah Stein. Continues to do a nice job on the draw controls. Stein goes right to the cage, but can't find a crease. So the Jackets go to work. Russell wide open in front. Instead, the pass went over Megan Patrick's head. Stein gave it to the far side. Kayla Miller looking for some help. Russell passes with her dominant hand. Sideways shot over the top of the bar by Katie Coker. It is a spectacular Friday afternoon in April. 65 degrees, a few scattered clouds here and there, but mostly very sunny skies in Berea. Making for a comfortable day and what will hopefully be a fun day to recognize the senior class for BW. A shot and a goal. Jenna Turner, the senior from Carmel, Indiana. With her first of the game, the team leads 3-0 on Turner's 6th goal of the season. And Ohio Northern has dug themselves an early big hole. They've given up 3 goals, and we have not yet played 5 full minutes. Polar Bears at 2-2 in conference play. They're 3-9 overall, which is a little disappointing because last year in their inaugural season, they finished 7-9. Certainly felt like they had reason to feel good about this upcoming season. And it just hasn't manifested itself. In fact, several of the losses that Ohio Northern took early on were rather uncompetitive. They lost 18-0 in back-to-back games against Keene in New Jersey and Marymount, which is in Virginia. Locally, Ursuline beat them 19-7. They lost to Worcester 15-5, and that's actually BW's next opponent. They host Worcester next Thursday. They did beat Franciscan in their season opener 10-4, but only 3 wins on the schedule, though 2 of the 3 have come in the last 3 games. High scoring area. Maddie Russell had a glance off the side of her stick. Nicely batted down by Megan Patrick, and she picks up the ground ball. Kayla Miller. Albrecht slings it to the far side. Jenna Turner. BW just looking for a little opening. Or can they make their way into the Polar Bear defense? Miller was calling for it, never received the pass. Still controlled by Katie Coker, not really being pressured at all by Jackie Lohman. Coker tries to slide into an area, and we're going to have a free position. Big chance here for Coker. She shoots it high and wide, but it stays with BW. Jackets have been pretty good on their free position opportunities this year. They've actually scored on 44% of them. Just a little off the mark there as Maddie Russell scoops it up after initially bobbling it. Jackets lead 3-0. There's a little ball pressure, forcing Jenna Turner to think quickly. Russell's open in the middle, and right as she shoots, the goal does not count because a whistle blew. Russell with a free position. She's good enough, she might make this one count anyways. Shannon Larson Van Alstine. Can't stop that either. Russell scores, it's 4-0 BW. And the Polar Bear defense congregates right in front of the cage. They've got to figure it out quickly because things are not going well right now for Ohio Northern. Still a lot of game in front of them. But the Polar Bears are in a tough spot. I mentioned some of those really lopsided scores Ohio Northern had early in the year. Things seem to be getting better for them as the season went along. They've certainly had better offensive outputs. When they lost at Kenyon, they scored 10 goals. They lost 17-10. They lost 16-10 at St. Mary's in Indiana. Lost an overtime game against Hiram, 13-12. So in some of their later non-conference games, the offense started to pull things together a little bit. But of the 270 teams that are ranked in women's D3 lacrosse, the average of more than 13 goals per game is in the bottom 25% of teams that compete. So they really haven't played very good defense this year. Well, that's a tall order today then against a BW team that offensively has really dominated most teams in the conference. Russell gave it away for a moment and received a pass right back. Beautiful feed from Albrechtha. Maddie Russell makes it 5-0 with her second goal of this first half. Kayla Miller has scored twice. Jenna Turner has one, and now Maddie Russell with 2 goals. The Yellow Jackets are playing well, and honestly, they haven't really been tested on the defensive end yet. We have not played yet 8 full minutes of game time, and Ohio Northern does not have a shot on goal or otherwise. Draw control, still scooped around and finally won by Ohio Northern. Whistle blows on the foul. And here come the Polar Bears. Wow, look at Megan Patrick fly back defensively. She sprinted past Ohio Northern. Coker floated one toward the middle. An errant pass, but BW recovers. It was Ironman scooping it up. Now Kayla Miller. That momentary breath of fresh air for Ohio Northern. And they have to regroup there on the defensive end quickly. Coker gives to Albrechtha. Shot on a stick save. Still controlled by BW, but great save by Larson Van Alstine. Shannon is from Wisconsin, a junior at Ohio Northern. She's played pretty well this year in goal. Miller finds Patrick cutting to the cage, and she finished again. 6-0 Yellow Jackets. Not even 9 minutes in. And we have a timeout called for by Ohio Northern. Baldwin Wallace off to a fast start at home on BWYellowJackets.com. Today's Yellow Jacket women's lacrosse game is brought to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Also by Domino's Pizza in Berea. Call them at 440-891-0030, or you can order online at domino's.com. And by the Ohio Education Credit Union. Gain the advantage and build your future today. As we resume, it's 6-0 BW, and we have not yet played 10 minutes of game action. If you tuned in a little bit late, Maddie Russell has scored twice. Kayla Miller has a couple. Megan Patrick and Jenna Turner with the other 2 goals. BW has outshot Ohio Northern 10-0 so far. Ohio Northern is, quite honestly, hardly possessed the ball. How did Maddie Russell slide that wide open into the middle? She couldn't get a good shot off. Instead, it's Megan Patrick. And the stick save by Larson Van Alstine. Nicely done. Here come the Polar Bears. Great open field speed by Chelsea Cousins, but her pass goes out of bounds and back to BW. Boy, Cousins just blew by Albrecht in the open field.
They saved 2-7.
Well, I guess Jordan Paw started too quickly, and so now it's Ohio Northern ball. Working on the left side, Betsy Noggle, the freshman attacker, who is one of 3 young ladies that has played very well so far this year for Ohio Northern. Noggle with 20 goals, 22 total points. It's loose on the far side, and back to BW. So it'll be Maddie Russell that starts things over again. In their recent 18-4 win, mentioned earlier, Ohio Northern had set a couple of program records. Freshman Rachel Shipman set school records with 10 points, and she had 5 assists to lead Ohio Northern. She scored 5 goals, and freshman Betsy Noggle scored a career-high 6 goals. So between Noggle and Shipman, 2 first-year players at Ohio Northern, that certainly would give Beth Heminger, the second-year head coach, a reason to feel pretty good about the future of the program. Maybe starting to see things come together a little bit for her. But at the moment, it is 6-0 BW. Megan Patrick gives over to Katie Coker, and she scores in the top right corner of the net. Seven, 0 BW. Nice goal for Coker. Deking to her left and then firing high and to the right. Coker had an assist earlier on Kayla Miller's second goal. Megan Patrick picks up her 5th assist of the season there on Coker's 13th goal of the year. Hard for BW not to look forward at this point, knowing they're going to play Worcester and Otterbein the next couple of games, but their final home game of the regular season is scheduled for Wednesday the 26th. 12 days from now, they will host Mount Union, who has won the OAC championship in each of the first 4 seasons that women's lacrosse has been a sponsored sport in the OAC. BW trying to pick it up, and Russell does on the draw control. Jackets on the attack. Albrecht into space and into the net. She had one thing on her mind, and that was to score quickly. Baldwin Wallace strikes again. It's 8-0. Boy, some of the games at home for BW lately have been really non-competitive. They beat Muskingum 14-4. Wilmington 18-0 in the first shutout in program history. They beat Heidelberg 20-1, and right now it's 8-0 over Ohio Northern. And look, it's not as if the Polar Bears aren't trying. I don't mean to come across that way. Hey, when you score 18 goals in a game in their last game, obviously they have some offensive ability. But they have not been able to stop BW at all in the first 12 minutes of this game. 8 goals in 12 minutes. BW with a draw control and a ground ball. Although I think that one went out of bounds, and so it should go back to Ohio Northern here. And Stein had trouble picking it up. On the restart, it's Emily Hirschberger that passes toward the middle. The pass is dropped by Katie McCourt. And so BW takes it back. Moran beats everybody up the field. Albrechta holds it in the corner. Mackenzie Moran, a young sophomore. She's played really well so far this season for BW as Kayla Miller shoots one right into the stick of Shannon Larson Van Alstine. BW is only 2 goals away from a running clock coming into effect. And we are not yet halfway through this first half. It was a touchy foul. It'll be Ohio Northern ball. Elsewhere around the conference today, John Carroll is beating Muskingum 10-1. That game's only 13 minutes old. Wilmington 5, Heidelberg 4, in a game that's been played for just 6 minutes. Mount Union and Capital will play at 6 o'clock this evening, and that game will be in Bexley. And then nobody plays again until next Thursday when BW hosts Worcester in a non-conference game. The rest of the conference has a week off. Maddie Russell was attacking the cage and there was a foul away from things, so she gets a free position. Great pass by Russell to Moran, but she shoots it over the top of the bar as it stays here with BW. Larson Van Alstine had it in her net, then it came out. She's able to pull it in cleanly. Nobody's in the cage at the moment. The Yellow Jackets choose not to shoot from a tough angle. Play continues with Russell passing to Megan Patrick. BW's offense kind of stagnant at the moment. Turner. Megan Patrick trying to evade the defense. Albrechta was open for just a second, but that was much better defense. Pass goes toward the middle. Not handled cleanly by BW. I believe that was Hannah Stein in there. Actually, I beg your pardon, that's Bree Martineau. Freshman attacker from Strongsville, just up the street. Here come the Polar Bears. Good stick work there from Alexis Kaler. And it is BW ball. Martineau up the near side. Into the middle of Russell. And the pass goes back to Martineau, and she didn't handle it cleanly. BW trying to be patient here. 13-14 left in the first half. And the Jackets lead at 8-0. Albrecht passes far side. Turner doesn't see a whole lot going on. Coker flips it to Russell. In a high-scoring area, and the defense clamps down on her, especially Chelsea Cousins. Nicely done. That one's going back to Ohio Northern. The Polar Bears defense over the last few minutes. Some of the easy early game shots that BW got off are not quite so easy at the moment. Pass flung back toward the cage. And Ohio Northern tries to bring it up the near side, but Megan Patrick steps in front of it. Gives it up, and a big-time goal. What a play. Jenna Turner puts it in the cage. Megan Patrick with a beautiful interception, pass, quick shot, and score. Boy, BW struck awfully quickly. So a good day for Megan Patrick continues. She's got her second assist, third point of the day. Ohio Northern still has not taken a shot here in the first half. Turner scores her 7th goal of the year. And her 2nd of the day. Draw control goes Ohio Northern's way. Rachel Shipman. Maybe something brewing here with Noggle behind the net. Back to Shipman. Up top now, Katie McCourt. Bobbles it. Lost her footing and the ball. And Maddie Russell scoops it up. It's been a tough day for Katie McCourt as Megan Patrick comes all the way up the field on her own. She decides to pass off. And a free position coming. Boy, this does not look like a good free position for Ohio Northern. Patrick gives it away, an easy deke and a goal, Bree Martineau. And it is now Baldwin Wallace. So the running clock goes into effect with 11:21 left in the half. Ohio Northern just doesn't seem, at least right now, like they're able to pass the ball back and forth. I mean, every time the Polar Bears get possession of any kind, they're unable to keep it. In fact, that last offensive possession was the longest that they've had all game. But even the draw controls aren't going their way. First 10 draw controls, 7 of them have gone to BW, and of the other 3, Ohio Northern has lost possession of them quickly. 12 Ohio Northern turnovers. Only 5 of them have been caused. Ball didn't go up into the air, so they'll do it again. Well, it certainly is the makings of a nice senior day for Jenna Turner, Maddie Russell, Amanda Ghetto, and Katie Coker. And they'll do it again. Clock continuing to tick. Under 10 minutes here in the first half. That one apparently went high enough up into the air. As it rolls along on the turf, Maddie Russell picks it up. The Polar Bears really clamped down on her quickly. Here comes Mackenzie Biastre. Not a great pass across, but BW still maintains possession. Coker. Kind of fake to her left, looking to go right. Nicely denied by Shipman. Haven't seen a lot of Kayla Miller lately. And a flag is thrown. Free possession for Russell. She passes off to Coker. Good idea trying to cut to the backside, but Jenna Turner couldn't get up high enough to get the ball. 8:13 left in the first half. Albrecht. Over to Moran. Really spreading out the Polar Bears defense. Coker just holding it. Russell, good spin move. Passes up top to Turner. This is Albrecht. Ohio Northern's defense definitely improving. And another free position coming. Let's see if Maddie just takes one step and rips a shot. No, instead she passed it off, and Martineau missed it low and inside. I'm surprised Russell didn't try to be a little more aggressive. That one deflected away and picked up by Megan Patrick before it rolled out of bounds. Good pass in front. Russell scores that time. Albrecht on the assist. Maddie Russell with another hat trick. Maddie Russell really making her case, in my mind, for Conference Player of the Year. I would think she's got an awfully good chance to pull in that award if the Yellow Jackets continue to play like this. She's been really good this season. So BW leads at 11-0 with 6 minutes left in the first half. Today's Yellow Jacket lacrosse game brought to you by the Hoffman Group. They're an Oswald company. They will handle all of your insurance and risk management needs. By Medical Mutual of Ohio, the official healthcare provider for BW. And by the Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests. After the foul, BW takes it. Moran pushed away for a moment. lost behind the cage and goes to Ohio Northern. Good open field speed by Chelsea Cousins once again. Problem is she lost the ball and Patrick picks it up. 2-on-2. And Megan Patrick scores again. It's 12-0 Baldwin Wallace. Patrick with her second goal. 5 points for her. She's picked up 9 ground balls in the first half. And Ohio Northern in the first 26 minutes still has not taken a shot on goal or otherwise. Megan Patrick checks out here. Gets a nice high five from Kim Russell on the far side of the field there. And the officials decided that I guess maybe Bree Martineau checked, or rather Hannah Stein checked on too quickly. I'm not sure. Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Draw control given to Ohio Northern. Another ground ball picked up by the Yellow Jackets. And here comes BW. Jenna Turner sprinting down the middle of the field. Coker passes into the middle. That's Savannah Jekyll. Still loose on the turf, and a foul call. It's Ohio Northern ball. Baldwin Wallace has scored 12 goals on 20 shots. Coker walking with the ball in her net. Trying to set up the offense. Runs by one defender and pulls out. Martineau bobbled it. Coker again. Into the middle. Hannah Stein just can't find an opening until the very last minute. She finally puts it in. Hannah Stein with her first goal of the game. That's just her third goal of the season. 13-0 BW with just over 1 minute left in the first half. My goodness. Well, Amanda Ghetto on senior day has not seen any action at all. She's picked up the ball once when it rolled loosely in front of the net. But other than that, she hasn't really had a chance to do anything today. Ball is loose, and the ground ball will not count. It goes to Ohio Northern on the foul. Ooh. Hannah Stein kind of got caught up with Ohio Northern's Haley Green. They both seem to be okay. Just 4 seconds left in the half. And no shot off. All right, so we've reached halftime, and Baldwin Wallace is dominating Ohio Northern 13-0. We'll bring you the second half in about 10 minutes on BWYellowJackets.com. Welcome back to George Finnie Stadium, where Baldwin Wallace is dominating Ohio Northern. If you've tuned in a little bit late, the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets have a 13-0 lead, and Ohio Northern hasn't taken a shot yet. The Yellow Jackets unbeaten in conference play. They're 10-2 overall, and honestly could not be playing much better than they are at the moment. If you joined us late, I'm Brendan Gulick. Thanks for tuning in here this afternoon on a beautiful Friday in Northeast Ohio. Savannah Jekyll forgot which way the teams were going, and so now she's running the right direction. BW shooting off to the right here in half number 2. Again, Ohio Northern has not taken one shot to this point. They've possessed the ball a couple of times, but not much has really come of it. And it's been a pretty frustrating go of things for the Polar Bears, who've won 2 of their last 3 games, but still just 3-9 on the season. We're anticipating a special guest in the second half. Assistant men's basketball coach Brian Schmidt hopefully will join us here soon. We'll have a chance to talk about how the offseason is going. Looking forward to visiting with him. Yellow Jackets on the offensive end, Hannah Albrechta. Nice pass toward the middle. Kayla Miller scored a couple of early goals, but hadn't really gotten much of a chance on the offensive end from that point forward. But she did score the first 2 goals of the game. 13 unanswered goals for BW against an Ohio Northern team that's coming off an 18-goal performance of their own. Well, the Jackets lost control of it. And here comes Ohio Northern, if only for just a moment. Opening 2 minutes of the second half. And because the game is a 10-goal differential at this point, we will have a running clock until Ohio Northern can tighten the margin at all. I think the Polar Bears have done a decent job after the first 10 minutes of the game. They've started to pick things up a little bit, but just a really slow start defensively. They're not doing a good job controlling the draw. Too many turnovers, and many of them were unforced turnovers when Ohio Northern's had the ball. Well, the Polar Bears are going to get it here. Again, they have turned it over 16 times in their 16 possessions. They don't have a shot yet. Savannah Jekyll. Looked like she didn't really want to control the ball with her weak side. And Ohio Northern commits the foul, so we've got a free position coming, I believe. Nope, not quite. Jekyll passes toward the corner. Mackenzie Moran, far side, patiently waiting to find something up top where Kayla Miller initiates. Miller just standing there. A lot of passing around the exterior. Oh, a cutting jacket going into the middle, but the ball was picked up. I'm pretty sure that was Jordan Paw who slipped in there. Ohio Northern has it on the far side, I believe. No, still loose on the turf. All right. BW picks it up. Kayla Miller just racing toward the cage. She deked the goalie, but didn't shoot it. And the Jackets just continue their holding of the ball on offense. We saw BW do this quite a bit early on in conference play. Obviously, they're not trying to be unsportsmanlike about the score. Well, they're not going to just take open shots just to take them. Ohio Northern throws it away. Five minutes into the second half, BW leading by 13. Larson Van Alstine steps in the way there and picks it up for a moment. But Megan Patrick scoops it in. And we're happy to be joined by Brian Schmidt, the assistant men's basketball coach at BW, who is at the game this afternoon. Gracious to take a little bit of time with us here to talk about how things are going in the off season. Thanks for spending some time with us.
I appreciate you having me. Beautiful day here at Finnie Stadium. Women lacrosse are looking good, so everything's good on the Friday before Easter here for the Yellow Jackets so far. Baseball team's up 5-1 last I saw. We got the softball team on campus as well today playing some home games, so everything so far so good in Jacket Land.
In a lot of ways, it's been a pretty good spring here for Baldwin Wallace. Of course, last year winning the national championship in indoor track and field on the ladies' side set a pretty high standard, and no one appears that they're going to achieve that here in 2017, but I'll tell you what, this ladies' lacrosse team certainly has performed to a pretty high level. It might be at a spot where we'll see our first shot from Ohio Northern. Nope, Maddie Russell pulls it away. But for a minute, let's talk about basketball because we
Sure.
Certainly want to keep you in your wheelhouse. How are things going so far after the Yellow Jackets made an appearance in the OAC championship game this year?
Yeah, it was an exciting end of the season. Obviously made the OAC championship game like you just mentioned. I think it was the first time in 10 years that the program had been there, so that was fun. Obviously not the outcome we wanted, but I think it was good for our guys. We've got every guy but one returning that was in the rotation. We're losing 2 seniors total, and one of which was a starter, and Zach Brandy. But we've got our entire team back besides him, and recruiting's going well. our guys are obviously working their tails off this off season. We're obviously not allowed to be hands-on with them, but my office is in the gym, so I see those guys daily, and they're certainly getting after it. And that just speaks to our culture. We got a great group, and we're pretty picky in the recruiting process, and we get guys that like to work at their games and love basketball. So that takes care of itself this time of year.
Albrecht right in front of the cage, bobbles it, loose on the turf, and the ground ball. She's able to scoop back up, so BW maintains possession. No scoring yet in the second half, but the Jackets are way out front. You mentioned it's the first time in basically 10 years that Baldwin Wallace made their way into the conference championship game for men's basketball, playing down at Marietta. There's a shot that dribbles by the right side of the cage, but Jackets still have it. There's a goal. Mackenzie Moran right in front. And finally, BW puts it in. So it's 14-0 Yellow Jackets. Anyways, Marietta obviously had a great season, and they ended up winning the conference title. Just goes to show the strength of basketball in the OAC when a team goes to the NCAA playoffs. And if I'm not mistaken, Marietta went to the Sweet 16, and they eventually lost to Whitman, who was a #1 team in the country. Whitman went to the Final Four but did not win the national championship. Babson ended up winning the D3 men's national championship. But when you have a chance, you mentioned recruiting going well. You're playing a team like Marietta, who's obviously built themselves into quite a power. How does the strength of the conference factor into what you're pitching as you deal with recruits?
It's actually funny. I'm laughing as you're asking that question and smiling, but we were just talking about Coach Heil, who's obviously the head coach, and myself at lunch today. We were, kind of talking about that. And to be honest, you can't beat yourself up over what other teams are doing. This league is good. It's a national league. This league is on a national stage in football and basketball and baseball year in and year out. And if you get caught up into what Marietta's doing and who Marietta's bringing in, and you hit the panic button a little bit, it's unnecessary, really. I think we just got to control what we can control, and I know that's such a coach thing to say, but it's so true. If you get caught up in who John Carroll and who Marietta are bringing in, you're not focusing on what's important, and that's your guys and your process and your team. So, we know what the bar is. We know, they've set the bar the last couple of years on how good you have to beat them, and we know what that bar is now. But we're just going to go out and try to recruit the best guys we can recruit, and we're in Northeast Ohio, which is an awesome basketball area, and so we're lucky we don't have to go far to find that talent.
Ohio Northern gets their first goal of the game on their first shot of the game. It was a good on the board. It's 14-1 about 10 minutes into the second half. I certainly understand your perspective. You can only control what's in front of you, and you can only control your message. But does it at least come up in conversation with recruits? Hey, we've got this kind of a schedule guaranteed every year because we're going to play Capital. We're going to play John Carroll. We're going to play Marietta. We're going to go play at Ohio Northern, which obviously in the OAC postseason tournament proved yet again to be a really tough place to play. You pulled out a win, but how much does the conference itself come up in conversation?
All the time. All the time. I think that's, we talk about with our recruits, if you can compete for a championship in the OAC and at Baldwin Wallace, you can compete for a championship on the national level. And so that's something that I think excites recruits. We've got programs in the top 25 every year, year in and year out, and that's the message. Hey, if you want to come compete for a national championship, hey, if we win our league, we're going to set ourselves up for that. And even taking it a step further, we've really loaded up our non-conference schedule next year, and we're going to go play some teams that are nationally known, and some teams that were in the NCAA tournament and Sweet 16 out of conference this year. So. We're trying to set ourselves up for the postseason, and that's a way that you can do it, is improve that strength of schedule. But it's a fine line because the league is so darn good that you're going to be playing 18 league games that are just absolute battles, and So it's a tricky process, and Coach Heil handles that. So I'm really glad that I don't have to. But he, I know. In fact, we're in the process now, but we're close to finalizing next year's schedule, and there's going to be some really good teams on there out of league too. But that's what we want. We want guys that are competitive in the recruiting process and that love to compete and that are going to come in here and know they're going to be challenged every day, whether it be, internally in the weight room, on the court in practice, and with our schedule during the season. But without a doubt, we talk about the OAC and how good it is a bunch.
Ghetto with a nice kick save after Katie McCourt misfired. 17:25 left in the second half. It's BW 14, Ohio Northern 1, and assistant men's basketball coach Brian Schmidt is our guest. Certainly don't want to ask you to give anything away that you can't yet or that isn't official, but can we anticipate maybe a date to look forward to when the schedule will be announced?
Nothing, to be honest with you, nothing's finalized in terms of contract, but we're looking at a tip-off tournament in Chicago that's going to host at least 2 NCAA tournament teams out of the 4, and obviously we'd be one of them, and a team that was not in the NCAA tournament last year. And then we're going to travel to Orlando. That's pretty much set in stone. And, again, nothing's official, but as of right now, it looks like we're going to be playing Hope out of Michigan, who's a national powerhouse, and St. Vincent out of the Pennsylvania area. And
St. Vincent 2 years ago went to the tournament, fell a little bit shy in the PAC tournament this year. And Hope, obviously, is always in the conversation. As the Yellow Jackets put another one in, I believe that was Jenna Turner. Yeah, it sure was Jenna Turner. So it's 15-1.
Yeah. That's just a handful of the teams out of league, and obviously there's some ones that we've done home and home with the last couple of years that we'll continue to do. Nothing's set in stone, but about as close as you can get without actually having the contract signed and that kind of thing. The one out in Orlando is actually not a 4-team tournament. It's just a classic, so you kind of know who you're playing in advance. And then the tip-off tournament in Chicago would be a 4-team tournament. So we obviously would have an opening game and play the winner or loser of the next game. So
okay.
But yeah, it's an exciting time for us. I think we've got a good blend. We've got a good senior class, but we feel like even after they graduate, talking about juniors now, that'll be seniors, that we set ourselves up for some sustained success, and guys that are going to get after and continue to get better. So right now, he's a health and physical education major, and he'll be looking for teaching jobs. So. With his personality, he's an outstanding guy. Both those guys, but neither one of them will have trouble. And that's again something we sell as being in Northeast Ohio and the alumni connections that you have here. And the goal is to leave here in 4 years and be prepared to for the quote unquote real world and time to find a job and hopefully you're a man at that point. And that's something we talk about, with recruits as well. Is this is a great alumni base. There's great people here, and you don't have to go very far if you want to stay in the area to find a good job, no matter what you're trying to do. So, yeah, we're excited for those two guys, and we'll probably be finding out here shortly some answers.
Albrecht bounces one low and wide of the net. Not a bad look though. For folks that want to follow the basketball team closely in particular, I know there's several different social media accounts, and I'll defer to you, although I will say I did see that Coach Hiles made an appearance on Instagram now. He's going to get some free publicity here.
Yeah, here I am. I'm going through my phone right now because our Twitter accounts are, I don't even know exactly what.
Pretty sure the Instagram account is BW Coach Heil.
Well, yeah, that's his plug. That's BW Coach Heil, and then I think that's his Twitter account as well, if I'm not mistaken. So if he's listening, hopefully I get some brownie points on that one because we mentioned his before we mentioned mine. But the basketball one is Jackets_hoops. And that's everything BW basketball. We've got some camps coming up and some high school shootouts where there'll be a lot of talent on campus. So we're gearing up for that right now. And then nobody wants to follow mine, but it's just my last name, Schmitty with a Y at the end, _40. And all I tweet is basketball stuff. So I apologize in advance. And a lot of Cleveland Indians. So which I know you can relate to, Brennan. You and I are both diehard Tribe fans. So
hopefully the offense will get going for the Tribe soon.
No doubt about it.
On the BW basketball camp side of things, are there any deadlines in particular that folks might want to know about in terms of signing up for some of those?
No, we just switched it. It's boys entering grades 3 through 9. And we usually get anywhere from 60 to 100 kids per session, but June 12th through the 15th is our first camp, and July 24th through the 27th is our second. And no, if you do it in advance, obviously it's a cleaner process for us. But
Jackie Lohman possessing the ball behind the cage with just about 9 minutes to go in regulation. Ohio Northern has gotten a couple of shots off this half, including one that went in for Betsy Noggle. And this is the most lengthy offensive possession that the Polar Bears have had all day. Brian, before I let you go, I don't want to tie up too much of your time, but wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity here sometime in the basketball offseason while one of the spring sports was playing to talk a little bit about the program and things like that. Is there anything else that you'd like to let people know about what's going on with BW basketball?
I don't think so. I obviously appreciate you having me on, but we're excited where we're at. We think we're really close. Obviously last year there was everybody asked how the season went, and I just do my hands. I demonstrate a roller coaster ride because that's kind of what it was. We got off to a great start and kind of had our target on our back, getting ranked inside the top 20 early in the year. And I don't know that we were ready for that, to be quite honest with you, but I think next year maybe we are, and that's not to put any pressure on our guys, but we think we're close, and we think we're ready to take that next step. And, you got to do it in the off season, though. Obviously everybody sees the results in the winter and the wins and losses, but you got to put in the time. You've got to earn that now. So our guys are working hard. Like we talked about, those are the kind of guys we recruit, the guys that get after it and that just love hoops and love to work out and take care of their bodies and do things the right way, and are good dudes. So we're excited where we're at. We really look forward to next year. We're going to be challenged with a beast of a schedule, but we wouldn't schedule those games if we didn't think we can handle it. So
one more thing before I let you go. It occurred to me while you were mentioning that here last second. How about the new chapter of the rivalry cross town that's about to commence in the 2017-2018 year after John Carroll changed their head coach for the first time in 25 years. It'll be a slightly different face. Pete Moran, their new head coach, has been on the sideline as an assistant for several years, but I know that just because these are the two schools in the greater Cleveland area, there's a lot of respect and familiarity between the two staffs. Are you excited about the new chapter of the rivalry?
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Mike Moran was a guy that I played against at Heidelberg for numerous years, and then had a chance to coach against him. Obviously, as an assistant coach here, the last three. Great guy, an intense competitor, and I've actually known Pete. I played against Pete when I was at Heidelberg, and he was at John Carroll when he was playing for his dad, and he was on some really good teams there. But I don't know how much change there's going to be in the program because it's a familiar face, and I know this year that Pete took over a lot of the responsibilities, and he certainly wasn't the head coach, but I think they were trying to prep him in hopes that he would get this opportunity. So we always look forward to that game. That's a game that means a great deal to both schools, and like you said, I think there's some mutual respect there, and the new Coach Moran's going to do a great job, and I don't expect them to die off at all. They're going to not miss a beat with him. So
well, we certainly appreciate your time. Best of luck, and we look forward to the official release of the schedule here in the near future.
Appreciate it. Go Jackets.
All right, Brian Schmidt, the assistant men's basketball coach at Baldwin Wallace, gracious enough to spend some time with us right as Mackenzie Moran put one in the back of the net there at the tail end of our conversation. And so it is 16-1, Baldwin Wallace with 5.5 minutes to go in regulation. Ohio Northern's played a little bit better in the second half. Though, truth be told, it feels like BW has just kind of held the ball quite a bit offensively. They're very patient looking for some shots. They realize time's on their side and obviously not trying to be unsportsmanlike in the way they've gone about some things. Some good passing in front of the net, though. Albrecht couldn't quite find the back of the cage. Close, though. And Moran will restart. That was, by the way, Moran's 8th goal of the year. Erica Eierman picked up her very first assist of the season. Congratulations to her. Moran with a 2-goal game now as well. Couple stars in the game for Baldwin Wallace. Jenna Turner has scored 3 times. Maddie Russell, 3 goals, 2 assists. And another one coming here. That goal belongs to Taylor Giordano. She has not found the back of the net too many times. It's just her 2nd of this season. Megan Patrick, 2 goals, 3 assists, and she's got 11 ground balls today. Mackenzie Moran, 2 goals on 5 shots total. Kayla Miller had the first 2 goals of the game but has not scored since. Brie Martineau, Hannah Stein, Katie Coker, Hannah Elbrechta, and now Taylor Giordano, all in the scoring column as well. By the way, Kelly Hill is now in goal for Ohio Northern. Shannon Larson Van Alstine is sitting over on the sideline. Kelly Hill has played almost as many minutes, not quite as many as Larson Van Alstine. But the Polar Bears decided that they would make the change at the half. And so Kelly Hill is going to finish this one out. Just 3.5 minutes left in regulation as Katie Coker races up the field. Even though this is not the last game of the regular season at home, Baldwin Wallace chose to honor their senior class today. So it is senior day. And the 4 seniors for BW are playing well. Jenna Turner, a 3-goal game. Maddie Russell, 5 total points, 3 goals for her. Katie Coker's had a nice afternoon. She seems like she's constantly been a part of things. Scored 1, assisted on another. And Amanda Ghetto, she's allowed 1 goal, only made 1 save because there haven't been many opportunities for the Polar Bears, just 2 total shots. Baldwin Wallace looks like they're on their way to going 11-2 and moving to 6-0 in conference play. Meanwhile, Ohio Northern coming off of one of the best games in program history with an 18-4 win over Heidelberg. Things have not gone Ohio Northern's way here this afternoon. Jackets are in white if you're tuning in a little late. Ohio Northern in orange, just a couple minutes left in regulation. Miller on the far side. Dishes it into the middle. Maddie Russell had a look but gave it away instead. Giordano lost the ball and they give it to the goaltender. Less than 2 minutes left. This will be our final broadcast before the Easter holiday on Sunday. The men are not in action today. Usually when you see in conference, the ladies are at one site, the men are at another. As Moran batted one toward the net and then tried to slide it in there. Didn't work either. Ohio Northern will host BW in men's lacrosse tomorrow afternoon out in Ada. Hopefully they won't be having to fight any rain. I know there's rain forecasted in greater Cleveland tomorrow, but not sure what it looks like out in Ada. In the meantime, the Yellow Jackets will have their next contest on Thursday next week. They'll play Worcester, 7:30 game on Thursday night. Then they go to Otterbein on Saturday before coming back home to play Mount Union in the regular season finale, and that's a big one. Mount Union, a decent team this year. They might be a little down by their standards, but the Purple Raiders, 4-time reigning conference champions, and they'll have to come to Berea and try to play against a BW team that is red hot. Speaking of red hot, Kayla Miller is hot. She's got her 3rd goal of the game. 3 different Yellow Jackets have hat tricks today. Jenna Turner, Maddie Russell, and now Kayla Miller, who scores bookend goals. She got the first 2 of the game, had not scored until this point. And with the running clock, her goal is going to be the last thing to happen today. It's all over. BW 18, Ohio Northern 1. What a senior day for the Jackets. Hope you have a wonderful Easter holiday this weekend. Enjoy it, and please travel safely if you're doing so to see family and friends. In the meantime, we'll come back next week and bring you more Yellow Jacket lacrosse. Again, the ladies will be home on Thursday night. The record now 11-2, and they are really playing well as the season slowly winds to a close. Until next week, I'm Brendan Gulick. So long from Finnie Stadium in Berea, where the Jackets win today 18-1 at bwyellowjackets.com.